Hi Wildings, welcome to or welcome back to the Wilding Tarot YouTube channel where we do intuitive tarot card readings on everything to do with the Lovers card. So everything to do with using our spiritual partnerships, our soul connections as vehicles for change, vehicles for spiritual development, spiritual growth, or just generally aligning more with unconditional love, aligning more with higher states of consciousness, including godlike consciousness. So that's what we do here, if you were not aware. But today's video, we're picking up on some vibes, and so we're going to get into a video kind of addressing the vibes. I have a feeling that it has to do with us entering into the Venus retrograde shadow period. Yeah, there's just some weird vibes with love, so we're going to do a reading about it. We're going to find out what's going on. But I will do like a full proper spiel about what we're getting into today when we officially open the video, which it looks like we're about ready to do. So let's get into it. Okay, Wildings, it's time to get into today's video. So as you might have guessed by the title, I'm picking up on some vibes. Some things need to be said. I can feel it. This might be because we're about to head into a Venus retrograde towards the mid to end of this month. But yeah, something feels stuck, something feels off, something feels like it needs to be said, needs to be spoken, needs to be like kind of brought to light. Because yeah, there's some sort of like either stickiness or stillness or yeah, just like lack of kind of something happening, and I want to get to the bottom of it. I definitely felt inspired to make this video today in regards to just bringing some stuff to light. Let's see what we can bring to light in our reading today by asking what is going on with this connection. WTF is going on with this connection, respectfully. But whenever you're ready, going ahead and choosing either pile 1, 2, or 3 to get your channeled messages. This can be for any situation, whether that's no contact, separation, like a new kind of situationship or relationship or something. Just bringing your intuition and discernment along to your reading and adjusting any of the messages based on your situation. Often I'll be channeling with language that best fits kind of the majority energy, but that doesn't mean the messages might not be for you. It just means that your energy is more of a minority in the reading, even though the messages are still relevant, and you just need to adjust some of the language that I'll be using. But you're all divine, intuitive beings, so I trust that you'll be able to do that, and you'll know which messages are for you, which ones are not for you, and which ones need to be adjusted based on your particular circumstances. And remembering your particular situation might be a combination of piles, so you might be drawn to more than one. That's normal, just honoring whatever you're drawn to, and if that's more than one pile, that's like no dramas. And if you're not drawn to any, maybe this is not the reading for you. Maybe your messages are coming in a different reading. But yeah, I will leave a very, very brief description in the description box of all 3 piles if you do need extra like buzzwords or time to kind of make your decision, or need something else to base your intuition on. So that's always there for you as an option. It'll be at the very, 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 very bottom of the description box. And yeah, I think that's all my disclaimers out of the way. So I'll leave an extra little freeze frame if you need more time to make your decision here. Like, use that. You're welcome to it. But let's get into the reading. Hey there, pile 1. If you chose this beautiful clear quartz crystal, then this reading is probably for you. Let's start by getting some general energies or themes using our astrology deck. Spirit, can we please have general themes for pile Okay. One, I would say with this Void of Course of Moon card coming out, that your person definitely wants you to know that they're missing you, and they're definitely feeling like the weight of this separation. I'm getting for most of you, it's some sort of like either separation or just space or distance or something right now where you guys aren't connecting. Yeah, this Void of Course of Moon is a generally fairly heavy kind of like feeling like something's missing energy. It does seem like, even though this connection feels like it's a bit of a stalemate and nothing's really happening, something is happening for your person in regards to healing that has to do with relationships. Libra rules the 7th house of partnerships, and our Chiron placement indicates our biggest core wound, but also like our biggest opportunity to become a healer of others. And I think it seems like your person is definitely doing some work when it comes to healing some stuff that gets in the way of them showing up well in partnership. Right now, they might have their Chiron placement in the 7th house or their Chiron placement in Libra, or they may just be doing some healing that's relevant to this kind of Libra energy right now. It's also probably healing that has to do with like letting go of a lot of ego and control and like trying to dictate situations. The Shadow of the Mars card, because it's kind of our masculine placement, has a lot to do with kind of like patriarchal masculinity, you could say. So they're definitely trying to heal a lot of those things so that they can show up a lot more authentically, a lot more empowered, and a lot more kind of communal when it comes to approaching relationships. They've definitely gone through a big period of change. This lunar eclipse energy definitely gives me a bit of dark night of the soul vibes, which they've probably been going through personally. I would say a lot of this has to do with learning more about their feminine energy. When the lunar eclipse comes out, it definitely gives me more of a femme vibe than it does, say, the solar eclipse. That definitely gives me more of a yang vibe. So I think your person's definitely learning how to connect with the feminine energy within, so that this masculine Mars energy isn't so toxic, essentially. And so, yeah, while it might seem like there's nothing happening in this connection right now, there's things happening in the background your person wants you to know. But let's get a bit more specific using this traditional tarot. Spirit, can we please have more messages for pile 1 in regards to what's happening with this connection right now? Please have more messages for pile 1 in regards to what's happening with this connection right now. This is interesting. Pile 1, your person knows how they weren't showing up well in this connection, either the first time around or just in interactions that you guys have been in so far. And they're definitely like aspiring to kind of like this new manifestation of themselves in relationships. They definitely see the vision very clearly about how they want to show up. They definitely want to show up with a lot more kind of space for your inner feminine and space for their inner feminine. They know that you're probably more of a feminine energy than they are, and they're quite yang, they're quite masculine, and they can be a little bit kind of patriarchally masculine, so there's a little bit of toxicity there that they're trying to clear to make space for their own inner feminine, to make a lot of space for your feminine, so that they can really celebrate and appreciate that energy a lot more. And yeah, they're just like overcoming some stuff. This 5 of Pentacles in reverse often indicates needing to heal some sort of poverty consciousness. Often that has to do with money, but it's usually more broad than that. Like a lot of the time it can be about like taking action, changing your diet, seeking help, and counteracting any kind of fear-based stagnation, especially. So yeah, your person's definitely envisioning like different from themselves, and they're doing their best to do the work, especially with this 5 of Wands energy. This is a Saturn in Leo, and to me it's definitely taking radical responsibility kind of energy. And this 10 of Cups is traditionally like a happiness energy. So to me, they're taking radical responsibility for how they're showing up in relationship, kind of more generally, I would say, because the cup suit has to do with emotion, but also just like relationships and connections and kind of, yeah, all that sort of stuff more generally. They're definitely taking a lot of, steps towards showing up better. I would say that they're probably like working kind of slowly in the background with these two energies coming out. Often when the 10 of Cups comes out, when someone's like kind of directing to this new kind of energy, it involves like taking kind of small steps towards their goal and potentially being a little bit private about what their goal is. So I'm sensing for you, maybe some of the reason why this connection feels a little bit stop or stuck is because they're being like super private about the steps that they're taking, and like not necessarily making it super known to anyone. They're kind of like keeping it all under wraps, especially with this King of Swords energy in reverse. It's usually like more of a Gemini kind of objective, intellectual kind of energy. And Gemini rules the 3rd house of communication. So I'd say with this card coming out in reverse that everything's super private. This person's probably not communicating kind of the depth of their goals. They're kind of like in a long game, but aren't communicating that with anyone. They're kind of like keeping things super, super, super private. Which could be for a lot of reasons. I would say like it's important, like what's important to them, they're trying to conceal, they're trying to protect, because there is a lot of yang, like king energy here. So a tendency of the divine masculine is to conceal what's important to them, while the divine feminine's more likely to reveal what's important to them. So yeah, I think that's not really an issue, that they're trying to keep things private right now and do their work kind of one step at a time. You just gotta let them do their thing and kind of keep things private. But yeah, we have a lot of other things that this person's working on for sure. So this 3 of Pentacles, what we were saying just before in terms of this Mars energy, like having some potential for toxicity, this Three of Pentacles definitely tells me that potential for toxicity is definitely there for this person. The Three of Pentacles in reverse can indicate someone like potentially being overly controlling and criticizing other people and not being necessarily able to work with others very well, and also not being able to balance their own drive and ambition, which is that very powerful Mars energy, with the practicality of the Capricorn, in terms of like discipline, routine, and hard work to achieve whatever it is that you set out to do. So as I was kind of saying before, it seems like your person's trying to like heal that. They're trying to bring more of that Capricorn groundedness into the way that they're approaching this the way that they're approaching this connection, because potentially in the past they've had more of that Mars kind of controlling criticism kind of energy, and even if that didn't kind of come out verbally with you, because I'm getting that this person probably doesn't share everything, like it might have been like kind of mentally, it might have been from ego, it might have been from story, that they're kind of recognizing and trying to work with. It seems like your person's definitely like on the path to kind of reining in this masculine energy. They're trying to become much more secure and stable within themselves, because I would say that a lot of this controlling energy is coming from them feeling out of control and so needing to control others, especially feeling out of control when it comes to maybe fear. And maybe like an inability to ground the self, or an inability to set personal boundaries. So like when we like fear and when we can't set boundaries, we often try to control things, and that's what it seems like is underpinning this kind of need for control for your person. So they're definitely working on setting boundaries instead of trying to control situations, and trying to ground themselves and feel much more secure and stable in themselves, so it doesn't matter so much what other people are doing, because essentially they're trying to like minimize their own hurt by controlling other people, and they're realizing that that's just like not healthy and definitely not going to help them. This Six of Wands, this is a Jupiter in Leo energy, and this is very much a feeling of feeling the fear and doing it anyway energy. So probably what your person has realized is they're not going to be able to stop feeling fear when it comes to connections, and but they can control like how they respond to that fear, and they can control moving towards that fear instead of trying to control it. Like instead of trying to control other people to minimize the fear, they can like recognize their own fear and like create space for it, and kind of be there for themselves essentially. This energy is also about like kind of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and growing as a person, and yeah, about kind of growing your self-confidence and not being afraid of like especially your own power, but also not being afraid of your own shadow. So yeah, this person's definitely working on a lot. And this King of Pentacles energy, this is like heavy Virgo energy, and it's all about acting responsibly, being like faithful, especially to the service of others and your own healing. And yeah, kind of being like a good person who is like is working on being so whole and complete that they don't need to take anything from others, but are able to kind of be in full service of others when they need support in some way. So yeah, it seems like your person's definitely like doing a lot in order to kind of minimize the toxicity that they've potentially brought to other connections, or this connection, if this connection has had a past turn. Now, what's interesting with these two energies is it seems like your person's definitely trying to mature a lot. So this Knight of Cups energy, this is heavy Scorpio energy. It's air and water energy. And in reverse, usually it's about someone not being able to open up, and and especially being afraid of like fear and heartbreak, and also like repressing kind of sexual energy, and like, yeah, kind of blocking that prana so that they end up being kind of self-destructive instead of like artistic, expressive, romantic, and constructive in other ways. So it seems like, yeah, your person's definitely been shut down, and this may be contributing to why a lot of this is not verbal. Like they're not showing that this is all the work that they're doing, because yeah, they're just like very closed off, very closed down, like very private, like trying to keep everything to themselves, which may have to do with like this control stuff that they're dealing with, but I think that's like a problem for a later date, to be honest. And so yeah, they're trying to open up, they're trying to especially open up sexually a lot more, and artistically, because essentially what they want, this King of Wands energy, this is heavy Sagittarius energy, it's fire of fire energy, and it's someone who's willing to take risks, and like who essentially sees risk as like more important to take than to not take. Like it's more of a risk not to take risks, if that makes sense. So yeah, your person's definitely kind of got their eye on this like very bold, fiery, visionary, like open kind of energy, and that's what they're working towards. And probably all of this is stuff that they're kind of like is going into this work, because yeah, they definitely do want this new start, they want this change, they want this kind of different connection and different approach, for sure. To connection, I would say for a fair few of you here, it's like a separation situation, but for some of you, maybe things have just failed to get off the ground because this person's processing from maybe past connections instead. And yeah, they're just trying to do a lot of healing when it comes to connections and the way that they show up to them, and the way that they know is like destructive, that they want to change. Can we get some love oracles for pile 1, please? Yeah, so definitely in the past they've kind of acted out this girl with a snake energy, and this is essentially like the kind of like masculine feminine kind of fight that we see like socially coming up right now. Like a lot of the time women are like overly empathetic to the point where they're like super enabling, and men are like super selfish to the point of being narcissistic. And that's just like a general, like obviously you can be any gender and play into either one of those kind of categories, but kind of what's happening between heterosexual men and women is like kind of coming up on the grand stage in terms of this empath and narcissistic paradigm, and that's definitely something that's being healed as a collective at the moment, and your person's definitely fallen into that trap for sure. But it seems like they're probably like keeping an eye on you, probably like way more than what they're speaking about what they've got going on. They're definitely keeping an eye on you and just yeah, keeping tabs on what you got going on, because they definitely feel like insane connection with you. They definitely want to like express love in the very near future, I would say. Like they definitely got this kind of like burning passion to reconnect, but at the same time they definitely want to do it when it's the right time, when they're ready, because they are playing a long game and they just want to be smart. And this is kind of like their new approach to life, like being really grounded and practical rather than like kind of acting from either emotion or yeah, like ego and all that sort of stuff. Like they're really trying to turn a new leaf with all of that. Yeah, so I think they're trying to trust in this process and probably want you to trust in this process too. They're trying to purify their soul and just like release a whole bunch of past patterning and pain, so that they can experience like deeper connections with people. Know that a win-win outcome is forecast that the two of you will probably experience this full moon in Libra energy, which is kind of like peak relationship energy. And both of your dreams for this connection need a practical plan. It seems like your person's definitely well on their way to having that practical plan in place. So if you don't feel like you're kind of on this level in terms of like all of this planning for healing, yeah, it might be time to step it up and just like focus on you and your healing for a bit, because that's definitely what your person wants for you. Okay, so the next article we have is find balance. Find balance between work, rest, and playtime, and you will have more energy, harmony, and productivity in your life. Take a power nap. So this is potentially for anyone who's like gone way too hard into this. Your dreams need a practical plan. Like if you're trying to heal all the time and do the work all the time, and you have no place for rest and play and joy and like fun, it's not going to end well, because we equally heal from shadow work and like divine child kind of play kind of love energy as well. So you've really got to have space for both. So yeah, if you feel like you're not doing enough, step it up. But if you feel like you're doing too much, possibly to the point of re-traumatizing yourself, dial it back. And this is probably not binary, like you're probably not one or the other. Like we tend to flip-flop between the two in life a lot. So if that's the case, just being like really mindful and then just like trying to come into an overall balance with those kind of energies. Can we get a last affirmation? Okay, we've got 2. So I knew this was going to come out before I even looked at the card. It says, trust in the divine timing of the universe. And then we have, my heart is filled with eternal gratitude. I count my blessings and give thanks for all that I have. Yeah, I think they're fairly self-explanatory, so I'm just going to leave them there. But it has been a pleasure reading for you. My name is Jade Rewilding, and I would love if you could like, comment, and subscribe to my feed for more intuitive tarot card readings like this, so that we can see each other again. But until then, ciao. Hey there, pile 2. If you chose this beautiful blue apophyllite crystal, then this reading is probably for you. But let's go ahead and get started with some astrology energies to kind of get a pulse check on what we're dealing with in today's reading. Spirit, what do you have for pile 2 in terms of general themes or energies of their reading today? Interesting. Okay, pile 2, it's likely that your person is dealing with themes from their unconscious, things being revealed to them, especially ways that they either dissociate or escape reality in some way. Anything kind of like dreamy or elusive to them. And that might be dreamy as in like things that they've always kind of wanted deep down, but they haven't allowed themselves to see until this point. And it also may be illusions about many things, but I'm getting mostly their future, like illusions or ideas they had about their future, and how those illusions are kind of coming to light and how they're being rewritten by what this person really actually wants. This person's really reconnecting to their true self at this time, and they're evolving spiritually a lot, especially in regards to love. So and maybe finances as well, I'm also hearing for some people. So Venus rules the second house of like money, possessions, finances, but it also rules the seventh house of partnership. And Jupiter rules the ninth house of like personal development, spiritual development, faith, travel, and kind of like ways that you expand yourself. So I'm getting that they're definitely expanding in regards to especially love and finances right now. There definitely seems to be a part of them that wants to communicate with you with this air element coming out. So the air element corresponds with Swords energy, and it's all about intellectualizing and communicating. So they're probably like understanding a lot more, and they can put words to things, and they definitely want to share what they've learned, I'm sensing from these energies. But let's find out a little bit more. Let's go a little bit deeper using this traditional tarot. Can we get more for pile 2, please, in regards to what's going on in this connection? What's going on in reference? Okay. Interesting that these 2 cards should come out. Can you clarify this Fool energy, please? Good God, of all the major arcana to come out. Can you clarify this Death card, please? The Emperor energy, please. And the Hierophant energy. So hot. Pile 2, when this Wheel of Fortune comes out in reverse in love readings, often it refers to the right person, wrong time, and I definitely feel like that was the case for you and this person. However, you've got a lot of cards indicating new life, new cycles, new activity when it comes to this connection, or entering in this kind of like new phase of connection. There may still be some things to kind of overcome in terms of timing. So the timing doesn't seem like exactly right now, but just based on these energies that came out, I would say that the timing is also not super far away in terms of you guys having the right person, right time kind of energy in this connection for sure. So it seems like the person that you're asking about is probably this divine masculine emperor energy. So this emperor energy is heavy Aries energy, which is obviously a cardinal fire sign. This card is essentially about someone who makes it happen. But this card came out with the Nine of Wands, which is a moon in Sagittarius energy. And this kind of brings in this Jupiter kind of expansion energy that we were talking about a little bit earlier, in terms of it seeming like your person's really expanded in this kind of divine masculine emperor energy a lot of late. Like that seems to be where they've done a lot of kind of growing and healing, especially probably to do with understanding their own boundaries, staying within their own boundaries, kind of staying in their lane, and making a lot of their boundaries and patterns in life a lot healthier, a lot more considered. And yeah, it seems like this person now at least appreciates this, that they deserve the best in life, that they deserve to be pampered, they deserve to be loved, and they've probably been to either therapy or like on some sort of alternative healing journey with this Virgo and Venus, and Venus in Virgo energy often refers to like people taking pristine care of themselves, especially their mental health, and like doing a lot of healing when it comes to any like kind of lack or not deserving or not enough kind of energy. So like I'm super proud of this person for like going and doing the work and like kind of getting it done. We also have this Knight of Wands energy, which is heavy Leo energy, and it's really about embracing play, fun, like kind of letting your hair down, caution to the wind kind of energy. So it seems like your person definitely feels like they're in this like kind of new phase of like real power and real kind of zest for life and appreciation for life, and like knowing what they deserve and kind of going after it kind of energy. And yeah, they're just like so much more secure and sure of themselves and way more stable. And yeah, they're definitely just in this whole new cycle, very much about this whole new cycle. There may be still a couple of things that are kind of holding them back though in terms of this right time with this Tower card coming out. The Tower card often refers to destroying things that aren't love. It heavily corresponds with Kali goddess energy of like, yeah, destroying what no longer serves you, and making room for something more expansive, more loving, and more aligned with your higher self. And I would say what that potentially is to do with, just based on these kind of both being the areas where there's some like not now energy, is this Hierophant and Five of Swords energy. So this Hierophant energy, she is basically representing the connection between the divine and the physical. So traditionally she has this little pose. I can't remember, it's the sign of something starting with B. I've totally mind blanked on what it is. Usually she has two fingers pointing up, two fingers pointing down, symbolizing the connection between the divine and the physical. And a lot of the time what this represents is ritual. So a lot of the time when we're doing rituals in life, we're really connecting our 5D self with our 3D self. We're like kind of taking the animal self or the 3D self on this kind of like spiritual journey, on this like process of like connecting to the divine energy more kind of intentionally, and working with that energy very like consciously. And that's what this energy is all about. It's all about, yeah, kind of like ritual. And this Five of Swords energy, this is a Mars and Scorpio energy, which I just find very interesting to come out with this spread, given that the Tower is like heavy Mars energy as well. And Scorpio is obviously very transformative, and correlated with this Death card. So there's just like lots of this energy here. And it seems like what your person is potentially still kind of moving through is the courage to face any grief and pain from the first cycle of this connection, anything that needs to be felt through the heart, and really like kind of unblocking any prana that's still kind of trapped or stuck in the body. Like this seems to be kind of what this person still needs to kind of work on. And I think a lot of that has to do with their like kind of lifestyle rituals, like embracing more of the divine in their everyday life, embracing more spiritual practices in terms of like shadow work and kind of like letting go of all of that energy. Like that kind of feels like the final part of the transformation for them, I would say. Yeah, there's still some like connecting to shadow, still some letting go and releasing still to do before this Wheel of Fortune would indicate right person, right time, which to me is why these two cards came out in reverse and everything else came out right way up. So this person's definitely doing some last steps in their process. Like personally, I'm not really 100% certain why, like what's still this grief to come through for them. That's what I want to understand. I might just pull one more tarot or two more tarot. Spirit, can you just like clarify this grief energy? So the Page of Swords, I mean, not Page of Swords, Page of Wands, this is Earth and Fire energy. And yeah, so this is very similar to this Knight of Wands energy. It's maybe a little bit more naive. And right way up, it's all about kind of exploration and excitement and like looking into the unknown, especially with this kind of like light, like kind of seeking out the unknown. I think maybe your person has a little bit of fear of the unknown, maybe fear of like what would be to come if they reach out and get rejected. And maybe that's why they're not reaching out, because they kind of like almost have to, either way they'll have to grieve in some way. They'll either have to grieve like kind of their single self, or they'll have to grieve like this hope that they had for a future with you that is no longer looking like it's going to happen if you do reject them. So I think there's some sort of like final grief step in terms of them being brave enough to come forward with their feelings and their intentions moving forward. But yeah, it seems like you have their like heart locked down. Like they're all about you. That's everything that they want. They want to take you on a date. They definitely want to do things like way more legit this time. And I think this is about this ritual card. Like I don't think they embrace the ritual of like dating, getting to know someone, treating them really well the first time around, or when you guys initially met. And they definitely want to rectify that. I'm getting I think they probably, I'm getting with these cards that they perceive you as very deeply hurt by this separation, feeling like you were abandoned, feeling like you were kind of betrayed, and they created a lot of pain for you. And so yeah, when it comes to this kind of energy that we were talking about before, in terms of them not kind of knowing how to reach out, how to reconnect, this is all the stuff that's blocking them essentially from making these moves and making it be known how they feel about you and like kind of taking you on a date. I think they're a little bit afraid that like you're potentially like very enabling of them and kind of will let them be like, because you love them so much, potentially like you kind of let them get away with too much. And so I think they're like a little bit panicked that they're like not going to be able to restrain themselves, and they're gonna like essentially want to take too much. I'm sensing it's mostly from a place of desire, but they definitely do get carried away. They definitely do get very gluttonous for your energy, and they have taken advantage of that in the past, and they definitely think that that's a big reason why you guys needed to go into separation, because they could not care for you. They didn't have the boundaries that we were talking about before in terms of being able to care for you and essentially not take too much. But they're definitely entering into a new phase. They've transformed a lot of this energy. I just don't think they kind of trust that it's like taken yet. Like I don't think they're like really trusting that it's settled in just yet. There's still a little bit of lack of self-trust here that they're trying to work through. And yeah, probably some solar plexus blocks as well. Our will comes from our solar plexus chakra, which is our chakra in between our heart and our sacral chakra and root chakra. So it's kind of like this middle ground between kind of honoring what the human needs in terms of like basic necessities, and also moving through life from the heart. So it's kind of like this weird kind of interplay that your person's like trying to manage right now. But yeah, they're just really focusing on their growth, like becoming a much more pure expression of their own energy, especially this Emperor energy. They're trying to like embody it in a much more kind of healthy and positive way. And yeah, I think they've definitely been through a lot with this separation and had to really like go through it. And they've definitely become way more resilient. But I think that also maybe this resilience is also making them like almost some of it is a little bit of avoidant behavior as well. And I think there's a bit of a challenge for them in understanding what's avoidance and what's kind of resilience to the pain. Like where are they creating their own pain, and where are they, you know, like where is this like a necessary resilience for like right timing, and where are they kind of prolonging it to a point of like just avoiding. But yeah, this person is definitely going to have some issues resolved. I would say just based on this being full moon in Cancer energy, Cancer rules the 4th house of home and family, especially family of origin. So I'd say a lot of this stuff that this person's currently going through has to do with family origin stuff that they're going to kind of uncover very soon. But it's important that you both have faith that your dreams are coming true, especially your dreams of reuniting with each other. Yeah, so this is double abundance energy with this card coming out just after the Jupiter abundance energy came out like initially. So yeah, I think definitely be prepared for a much more abundant kind of cycle when it comes to this connection for you. You may just need to wait for a little bit longer. This refers to winter, like in spirituality, winter's like the death, the dark night of the soul, the like kind of tower of destroying anything that no longer serves, to make space for new. So yeah, I would say like there's still a little bit in terms of divine timing when it comes to this connection, but yeah, just embrace it. So your affirmation is, I am welcoming positive change as an opportunity to expand my being. Yeah, so there's probably going to be a lot of changes leading up to this connection that will help you expand and like be ready for this connection. But there's probably also, once you get into connection, it's going to feel like a positive change, but there's going to be a lot more probably come up and come to the surface to be dealt with. So make sure you're recognizing all of that as opportunities to expand into more love once you do get connected. So regardless of whether you're in connection or not, there's a lot of opportunity for expansion right now. So making sure that you're embracing that. But I think I'm going to leave that there. I think that's enough to take away for the day. It's been a pleasure reading for you. My name is Jade Wilding, and I would love it if you could like, comment, and subscribe to keep me on your feed and put me on other people's feeds who need these messages right now. But until I see you again, ciao. Hey there, Pile 3. If you chose this beautiful purple fluorite crystal, then this reading is probably for you. But let's start off by getting some general energies and themes to our reading using our astrology deck. Could we please get... This was a lot to come out straight away. Interesting. Okay. What do we have? These must have all been getting ready when I was Maybe I'll get one more card for the sake of making the piles pretty. Is there any last energies you want to share? Pile 3, please. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. My Virgo rising just cannot. Look at this. Okay, pile 3, some of the general themes that might be coming up and out for your person right now probably has to do with their kind of sexual creative kind of energy, as well as their lifestyle and general routine, especially to do with work and health, especially work, given that the 10th house came out, which rules our career, definitely work, and also potentially balancing like their work life with their home life. So Cancer rules the 4th house of home and family, and these two are often at odds with each other, home and work. So yeah, this person might be kind of like facing some dilemmas in terms of like balancing those two energies right now, I'm getting. Also we have this Neptunian 12th house Pisces kind of energy, which often talks about ways that we're kind of like living in our own illusions, as well as like all of our kind of dreams and heart's desires as well. It's like this balance between the light and dark of those energies. We just have the Destiny card coming out, which is usually this particular placement in our aspects has to do with things that we're kind of like destined to do in this life. And then we also have Aries energy, which corresponds with the Emperor card, which is heavily divine masculine energy. And just these two, like I intuitively put together, potentially talking about your person kind of like fulfilling their destiny as this divine masculine in the world. And this problem between family and home as well is definitely a problem of the divine masculine more often than not. So especially with accidentally prioritizing the world house over the fourth family house. But yeah, it seems like they're definitely going through this period of like provocation and like things coming up for sure. But we're going to get a bit more specific using our traditional tarot. That was quick. What do we have for pile 3, please, in regards to what's going on with this connection? What do we have for pile 3, please? Okay. Could you please clarify this star card energy, please? Whoop. Okay, this is a lot. And this King of Pentacles energy too, please. Interesting. Pile 3, it seems like your person needed to be humbled a bit. There may have been some like youthful naivety from them in the past. Definitely some illusion, definitely some tendencies to kind of believe their own thoughts without kind of critically analyzing them and without kind of like mindfully reflecting on them. This 7 of Cups energy is Venus in Scorpio energy, and it definitely asks us to gain clarity, especially in regards to keeping our mind really like kind of fresh and clear, and doing like a lot of introspection and kind of deciphering any confusions, especially with this kind of Neptune card coming out, which can also, the shadow can be to do with illusions. I'd say this person's kind of been breaking down their own illusions, kind of identifying the snakes within their own consciousness, things that kind of lead them astray, lead them into temptation. Snakes symbolically represent temptation. A lot of the time it's also to do with feminine energy. So I'd say your person potentially, when it comes to the feminine, is easily tempted. That's not to say they're like a cheater or anything, but just like, I don't think they're very in control of their own desires, and potentially can be selfish when it comes to what they want a lot of the time. This 3 of Wands energy asks us to be able to give and receive equally in connections. So that coming out clarified by this 7 of Cups, it does seem like your person potentially is more of a taker naturally than a giver, and they're definitely kind of identifying like where they're being overly gluttonous for feminine energy and not giving back anywhere near enough. So like some of the things that it seems like they're working on is overall being more generous. This 6 of Pentacles is traditionally a generosity card, corresponds with Moon in Taurus energy, and it's definitely about like using resources very consciously, very intentionally, and being much more willing to share. The 7 of Wands, this is a Mars in Leo energy, and this is about choosing battles wisely and relying on divine protection and intervention. It seems like your person definitely didn't, just like wasn't working with the world very consciously. They weren't they weren't considering it a symbiotic relationship. I'm getting that they more kind of showed up to life with this every man for themselves kind of energy, and was like very much in competition with everything, and they're kind of realizing that their only competition is themselves, and their only goal is to be a better version of themselves. It's not to compete with every person under the sun to have the most money, the most recognition, the most women, the most anything. Like, they're just trying to be a better person for themselves, essentially. So yeah, they're definitely trying to improve their life a lot, and they're definitely trying to figure out how they can contribute more positively to the world. This star card corresponds with Aquarius energy, and a lot of the time it's about showing up really truthfully, and kind of reaping what we sow, but like more from a place of like knowing what your unique gifts are and how they can impact the world. It's your person's like figuring all of that out at the moment. And I think one of the things that they're kind of discovering in this process is they're having a bit of a tower moment over their own energy. I think they're potentially this kind of King of Pentacles energy, like this very disciplined, practical kind of person, like deep down, but there's just a lot of shadow that they've accumulated and a lot of karma that's kind of essentially kind of like overshadowed this natural tendency to be this real provider, protector. The King of Pentacles is like heavy father energy, or paternal figure energy, if like that word doesn't fit. So yeah, I think they've definitely lost their way a lot. They're having a bit of a tower moment, trying to get back to this energy and let go of a lot of the things that have essentially distracted them on their path. So this 6 of Cups is the Sun in Scorpio energy, and this is essentially about kind of letting go of the past, but also learning from it, understanding why things went the way that they went, and kind of like moving on, but like using that to adjust how you move on. It's very much about living in the now, but with the wisdom of the past, if that makes sense. And so yeah, this is what your person's trying to do. They're trying to like move on from their past cycles and be present, but also be mindful of like how they got to the place that they got to. And definitely in their eyes, they definitely were not balanced in connections. They were more of a taker than a giver. Again, this Two of Pentacles traditionally represents balance. It's a Jupiter and Capricorn energy. And yeah, it's about finding balance, and this person definitely hasn't been balanced with you or in any connections. And I think they're boiling that down to naivety and kind of their own propensity for, just like youthful naivety. They needed to grow up. They needed to be a lot more objective and a lot more curious about how they can evolve as an individual, and also like curious about how they can take more responsibility for themselves and the life that they're creating, and like create a life really consciously by working with the energies around them rather than trying to dominate and control energies around them, especially feminine energies. I think they're trying to like kind of capture and control feminine energies instead of like allowing them to be, which is kind of the natural state for the feminine, is like just being, existing, and like especially in the moment kind of joy kind of stuff. So yeah, they're kind of like strangling the thing that they loved essentially. So yeah, they're trying to be much more responsible with their connection, with their energy and the way that they're using it. And this Page of Cups energy usually represents new starts when it comes to love. Very abundant kind of love energy, and a lot of the time it also signifies coming into a love connection where the universe is sending like confirmations and signals and synchronicities, because the energy is kind of so pure. So I would say as your person's doing the work, they're kind of getting a lot of confirmation from the universe in a lot of ways that they're kind of on the right path, and that's definitely very validating, because it seems like there's still some stuff for them to kind of work on and work out. So yeah, I would say overall that's pretty positive. But yeah, it does seem like this person kind of has their eye on this Page of Cups energy as the prize, like this new start kind of energy. I'd say they probably see it as their destiny. And as I was saying before, this Destiny and Aries card coming out together is about them knowing that their destiny is definitely about evolving into this divine masculine that Aries represents, the Emperor energy. Ooh, okay, so your person is definitely on a path to kind of re-engage with you. They definitely want to woo you this time. They're more interested in what they have to give you than taking, as they might have been in the past. And yeah, they're definitely not going to be, they're going to be seductive in a like wooing you way instead of seductive in a kind of like end goal kind of way that they might have been the first time around. And yeah, this person's coming in with a lifelong promise by the looks of it. They want this union. They want to see it at its full potential. They want to propose. So yeah, that's their eye is on this prize for sure. But yeah, there's lots of things that they're healing in this process. The dragonfly symbolically represents a lot of healing, and it's obvious this person's doing a lot of healing. Yeah. But yeah, there's probably in terms of timeline, I think this Keys on a Ring came out. This could indicate like moving in first, but it can also indicate like there being lots of potential paths that this union could come back together in. So definitely like dropping attachment to the outcome, because you never know kind of how things are going to reignite when they do and when things are kind of ready. Yeah, just like follow the path and just worry about what's next rather than trying to foresee too far into the future. Know that there's this mutual kind of attraction with the two of you, this supermoon kind of energy. There's definitely something big here, and it's just important that you trust in that for now, especially if nothing seems to be happening. There's a lot going on behind the surface, and your person's definitely super keen to end this separation too, but they're being divinely guided for the right time, I'm sensing. So trust that. Believe in the impossible, blue moon. So the way that this could all manifest could be like super bizarre, or just like the fact that you guys get back together and your person's like totally different and totally this like new dragonfly energy might be the impossible. But yeah, believe in it, because it's definitely possible, and you want to align with the reality where that is the reality as well. So, well, I'm sensing from you anyway, so that's the reality you want to align with. So in order to align with that reality, you have to believe in it. I think emotions are running high, probably for both of you in this situation right now, with kind of you guys reaching this kind of weird time where there's maybe a bit of a stalemate in terms of action, but also a lot of like attraction and intensity of feeling. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird time. But yeah, you just got to roll with it, figure out what's coming up for you and like where it's coming from, turn towards joy, embrace like the process, and also just like know that this might be a bit of a journey, and it might throw you some curveballs, and just like be prepared for it to be like almost unpreparable for. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely nothing happening like in the very, very, very near future, because there's still some things that your person's straightening out. But I think the kind of lull that might have guided you to this reading is definitely like, it's just one of those natural ebb and flow kind of moments. Like it's just a part of the process. Trust it. So your affirmations are: I cleanse my entire being, I'm free from negative energy, and I trust in the divine guidance of my inner wisdom. All the answers exist within. So yeah, there's probably some more to release for you, and there's some more to consult of your own inner intuition. There's probably extra things that you know about your particular circumstance that you need to connect with from within. But I think I'm going to leave that there. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed today, or I hope you were entertained at the very least. My name is Jade Wilding, and it has been a pleasure reading for you. If you can like, comment, and subscribe so I stay on your feed and appear on more people like your feed, I would really appreciate it. But until I see you again, ciao.